Facebook, YouTube. Well, I did a video a while back about, you know, about the blender, the world's blender, you know, the world system blender. A guy gave me a little more, a different eyesight, I guess, viewpoint of that message. Did one about the world's blender because I was at Starbucks one time. I was looking at the blender and I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? People are in the world system blender. You know what I'm saying? They're just going to and fro and spinning around and spinning around and spinning around. But you know, God showed me something about. Well, here's the thing about the blender of the world. Well, how the world became, you know, there's of course a process to things that preceded to a blender. A blender, every product that is created had to go through a process according to factories, that they had to go through a process of being put together, you know, being assembled together. And when the product is assembled together, they ship it to people, or ship it to stores, or ship it to places that need it, and now it's used. And so the blender, more likely the blender was created. And the world and the system of the society that we know and we understand. Well, I hear people in the old days, they said that, you know, things were better in the old days, that they said that you can leave your doors unlocked, and it was not so much craziness in the good old days. And, you know, it was a wonderful time period to live in, you know. And what I do hear about the good old days, they describe it. They said it was like it was wholesome. You had wholesome values and wholesome principles concerning yourself, you know, who you are and stuff like that. It was a wholesome value about one another, you know. And the thing is, you know, and had a camaraderie, something like that, that you know, get, you know, this get along kind of idea. But the thing is, you know, but all of a sudden, something went to wholesome, and now to this, you know what I'm saying, that now you have to lock the doors, and now, you know, people are crazy, people doing drastic things, you know, crazy things are happening, people are, you know, zaning, and all kind of crazy, sinful activity going on, and that went on in that time frame period. I mean, too much. I mean, it was there, you know. It's kind of like, I guess I just did that message with that fire, you know. It was that a little fire, but all of a sudden that fire grew stronger and, you know, blazed, and now it's just burning people like left and right in these now times. But I was looking at it God presented to me quite interesting. When you know, I go to Starbucks and I see them put ice in the machine. They put ice, you know, they make the drink and they put ice in it. And that ice was like chunks of whole particles. It was whole particles from the beginning. And that's why I'm paralleling whole particles to wholesome. That everything was wholesome and, you know, wonderful in those days. But all of a sudden, something was built. A system was being built. A system was being more likely assembled that will more likely was building a blender, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, the things that were whole, you know, that wholesome things that I want to hope you follow this metaphor that was in the ice machine, these whole ice things were wholesome. They was there, but when they put it in the blender, you know, somehow it got in the blender, and somehow somebody pressed a button in this system, and all of a sudden stuff start breaking apart, breaking into pieces. something was being, broken into particles. I want to say that. Broken to pieces, broken into bits of particles. And it's no longer the ice that it was, or as it can say, is no longer was in the wholesome shape that it was. It's now broken apart, and and now it's just scattered. Yeah, I want to use the word it was first, thank you, God. First it was broken apart, then now the pieces scattered everywhere, And the thing is, God was showing me when I was at Starbucks that, that's what happened. That's what's been happening to humanity, and what Satan's plan or plot that he is doing to generation. And people are not seeing this system, but it's you see it, but you're not, really, let me see. You're not pointing out the enemy. Certain people, not all people, but certain people are not pointing out the enemy. But of course, this world system, God showed me the three blenders, the three, the knife part that's breaking humanity's morality up, is the social media called the TV, radio, and the environment. You know what I'm saying? What you see around you. You know what I'm saying? Because of these forces is now are breaking stuff, breaking wholesome values, moral values of humanity apart, and has been doing this for a long time. And people are not aware of this system that is going on. And they don't understand to what extent of how bad it has been broken into particles, and how bad it has been scattered around. You know what I'm saying? That people do not have, of course, not have a moral compass, or the moral values of what a human being is supposed to normally do is not being performed the way it needs to be performed. And that was once going on is not going on anymore, because people are, broken all apart. They're they're broken all apart, and of course they're like, oh, somebody make me whole, and they go to the world, that system that's actually breaking them apart, and try to make them whole, and I'm like, gosh, God was been showing me that for quite a long time, in me growing up and me learning to become a Christian, showing me how television and radio and all these other stuff and facets that they use to break apart the humanity in its wholeness, because God created us whole. You know what I'm saying? And we are supposed to establish be wholesome, or operate in holiness. That is what we're supposed to be. But this world system has, did all kind of things and created all kind of systems in this world to create that blender that people don't realize that they're getting in. You don't realize when you cut on that television that the blender is, zzz, and the radio, zzz, and what's going on around you, the negativity going on around you, zzz, is a part of the sequence of the blender that's trying to, devour, like I said, the moral compass, the morality within inside you, or moral compass of concerning the direction. You should not go here, but you should do right, but not wrong. That compass. And people don't got that compass anymore. They got the compass like, I can do what the heck I want to do, whenever I want to do. The lust compass, of course. Well, it's not really a compass. It's just you go anywhere and do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do, and whatever to the consequences of the situation, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't care. That is now that should be the test of, that should signify more likely how the blender, of this world system has got people scattered and broken up. The parts, they're broken inside. You can hear people, I'm broken. You know what I'm saying? I need a fix. I need to be fixed. And they're getting the wrong fix, of course, from the world, the earth. The earth is a false fix, to fix the problem. It's really going to break up more particles inside it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get broke up more. But we know the only person that can only fix it, just like the song say, and it's an old song, it says, I know Jesus can fix it. Only Jesus can. And the thing is, but the thing is, this message is all about helping you see the blender. You know what I'm saying? See that you are broken because of this blender of this system that has created situations, as we know about Black America, that Black America, is put in a poverty situation, and now we find ourselves in, in the jails, packing the jail houses, because of our position that, our poverty-stricken place that we came from. We now, have to steal certain people, not all of them, but, we're in a bad position that we allow our position to make us bad. You know what I'm saying? That, God taught me about, Mac, you're in a bad neighborhood, but just because the neighborhood's bad doesn't mean you're supposed to be bad with it. You do have a choice to choose to, involve yourself in a negative bad, to be about this negative bad neighborhood or not. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, but certain people, unfortunately, were put in bad situations of, instability concerning, a lot of things that I find out, in, of course, African, Black culture in America, in the majority, and the thing is, I learned from, where I come from and where I was raised at, that I was more likely outside looking in. God blessed me with, to look at outside looking in instead of not involve myself in it, That's what God blessed me. And I can see things more in a proper perspective, in a proper viewpoint. I can see the blender going on instead of not get in the blender, pretty much. And the thing is, it's important that we need to understand that first of all, there is a blender. And most people know that, but most people being ignorant of it. And more you're ignorant of it, the more you become a victim of it. Because this blender is powerful. This blender, is simple as cutting on the TV. Like I said, the two blades, cut on the TV, cut on the radio, look at your environment and watch negative examples to follow. This blender is just dangerous, and you can believe in the reality of more likely the promise of fulfillment of you will be fulfilled, you will be whole again, because that's what people are seeking after. They want to be whole again. They want to be that ice again. They want to live in a state that they can have life and life more abundantly and enjoy life and love their family and friends and love the children, that I'm seeing becoming a victim of this breaking apart of the human moral standards, of humanity, the children, innocent victims, really, they was placed in this world, and it's like people need to understand that this system is out there, first of all, and of course you need to be I-N-G-ing, you need God, or I-N-J-ing, you need Jesus. In order to fight against this system, that you don't become a victim of this world's blender and you can live a life and life more abundantly in Him. And that's the message. I hope you got it. To God be the glory.